Hello friends, welcome to Total Recaps. Today we are going to explain a movie named Tumbad, released in 2018, so sit with popcorn and enjoy this fantastic horror/fantasy movie. At the beginning of this story, its lead character, Vinayak, tells his son it is believed that centuries ago, there used to be a goddess of fulfillment. That goddess of fulfillment had an immense store of grains and gold. When the universe was created, at the time the goddess of fulfillment gave birth to 160 million deities from her womb. But her most favorite was her first child, whose name was Hastur. But he wants to take her all gold, food, and power. He has taken gold from his mother and then he moved towards the grain. But when he takes the grains from her, the rest remains. Gods and goddesses attack him and they save the grains. Now other deities were about to kill him, but only then the goddess of fulfillment saved him. But now it gets the punishment for its greed that none will be worship it, and Hastur will never be mentioned in the Puranas. By the way, Puran is a Indian Hindu's book. Many ages passed. Hastur remained safe in his mother's womb, but some time ago story's lead character Vinayak Rao's ancestors built a temple of Hastur and started worshipping it. It is said that from this day all the other deities became angry, and since then their anger has been raining on Tumbad. Here Vinayak's son asks his father, "But why did our ancestors wake up the Hastur?" Then Vinayak tells him, "Because the curse of the Hastur is a boon for us." Now start the movie with Chapter 1. Village Tumbad. In 1918, a Vinayak's mother goes inside dark fort of Vinayak's ancestors, where lived old-aged man named Sarkar. Sarkar is grandfather of Vinayak, and here she gives sexual pleasure to him. The reason behind it was that she asked for the gold coin from him, but Sarkar replied her, "You will not get this coin easily. You have to do something about this." Later the scene shift to the Vinayak Rao and his younger brother Sadashiv Rao. They were waiting for their mother because she goes daily to the Sarkar, and today she was very late. Here they both talk to each other, who will give food to the grandmother. Basically, there is an old woman living in their house whose age is more than 200 years and her whole body was completely damaged. How did this old grandma live so long? You will know the reason for this later in the movie. After this, both the brothers open the door and decide to feed their old grandmother themselves. But after some time his mother also comes here, and she is very angry with Vinayak because Vinayak had told his younger brother that today both of them will feed their grandmother. After some time Vinayak asks his mother that, "Have you got the gold coin?" In the midst of their conversation, Vinayak's grandmother wakes up from her sleep and Vinayak's mother goes to her and says, "Sleep, grandmother, otherwise Hastur will come." Here the scene shifts and they all come to know that Sarkar has died. After that they perform Sarkar's funeral. Now Vinayak's mother tells her boys that he will not stay here anymore, and tonight all three of us will leave Tumbad and leave for Pune city. We then see Vinayak and Sadashiv sitting in their courtyard, where Sadashiv was sitting on top of the branch of the tree. But then that branch of the tree breaks and Sadashiv falls down from there, due to which his head gets hurt. Then shortly after this, Vinayak's mother arranges for a horse cart and starts taking Sadashiv to Aveda. Here Vinayak asks his mother, "What should I do if grandmother is hungry?" Then Vinayak's mother tells him that today you will have to feed her, and if she wakes up, then say, "Sleep, grandmother, otherwise Hastur will come." After this Vinayak starts cooking food for his grandmother. Grandmother wakes up from sleep. After this Vinayak tries to see her by going near her room. Then his grandmother says from inside that, "Do you want the treasure?" Only then Vinayak opens the door in greed and goes inside. When Vinayak goes inside the room, grandmother tells him that, "There is a treasure in the fort of the Sarkar. Come on now, I have told you the address of the treasure. Now you cook food for me and bring it." After this Vinayak goes to his kitchen to get food. But then his grandmother attacks him and tries to tie him up and take him to her room. Unfortunately, Vinayak had also forgotten the line that his mother had told him through which his grandmother could sleep. Here grandma is about to kill Vinayak when Vinayak remembers that line and says, "Sleep, grandmother, otherwise Hastur will come." Then Vinayak's mother also comes here. Vinayak asks his mother about his brother. Then his mother tells him that his brother is no more, and she also says that those people are now away from here. We will leave because only Sarkar and his grandmother knew about the treasure, and Sarkar is now dead and they is in danger from grandmother. That's why now both of them leave their Tumbad village the next morning and leave for Pune city. Here in the boat, Vinayak once again tells his mother that he does not want to leave his home and go anywhere because he knew that the gold treasure is in the Sarkar's fort. But then Vinayak's mother gives a one gold coin to Vinayak to keep quiet and says that there is a lot of danger in this, and you promise me that you two will never come back to Tumbad in your life. Perhaps it was here that Vinayak's mother learned a lesson in her greed by losing her second son, Sadashiv. Now after this Chapter 2 starts, where we are shown the scene after 15 years. Here we see that Vinayak has now grown up and has once again come to Tumbad to find his ancestral treasure. That's why he first comes to his house and goes to grandmother's room and sees that grandma is still alive. Her condition had become so bad that her body had completely melted and her heart was pumping outside. So now she doesn't want to be alive, so then she asks Vinayak to burn her. But here Vinayak first asks his grandmother about that treasure. But his grandmother does not tell him about the treasure. So Vinayak makes a deal with grandmother that if she tells him about the treasure, he will kill her and set her free forever. Here, Grandma does not tell Vinayak where the exact gold is, but she definitely gives a hint that, many years ago I was very expert in getting into the well. After this, Vinayak goes to the fort of Sarkar and first of all finds a well, and then he cleans that well. After that, he also practices going in and coming out, but he still doesn't know how to get the treasure from there. That's why he comes to grandmother again after a long time, and this time grandmother finally tells him the secret of the treasure. Vinayak then sets his entire house on fire, including grandma. Now after this, when he comes back to his house with a gold coin, no one was recognizing him, and here he comes to know that his wife has started a small business after his departure. Actually, she grinds grains and makes flour and sells it in her locality. That's why Vinayak first gets very angry with his wife, but later he tells his wife that they both are going to be rich now. He has come to know about the treasure. In return, he asks only one help from his wife, that she should keep grinding flour from grains to him. Next day, Vinayak shaves off his beard and goes to a pundit named Raghav, who was a jeweler at the time and from whom Vinayak had taken some loan for his household expenses. But Vinayak repays his entire loan by giving him a gold coin and also takes the rest of the money from him. After this, Vinayak would go to Tumbad village after a few days and come back with some gold coins and sell them to Raghav jewelers. Now Vinayak was getting very rich day by day. Now his condition had also become very good, but seeing this condition of Vinayak, Raghav jeweler also gets greedy. That's why first he goes to Vinayak and tells him that he should make him a partner in his work, so that the hard work of both will be divided and the benefit will be more. But Vinayak refuses this deal of Raghav. That's why now Raghav has this greed in his mind that he too will go to Tumbad, and from where does Vinayak bring gold coins? We'll find that place. That's why Raghav gives some money to a woman for 2 days so that she can stay with Vinayak, and Vinayak gets busy with her. He leaves the girl at Vinayak's house as a maid, but for the greed of even more money, the girl reveals Raghav's whole truth to Vinayak. After this, the scene shifts to outside the fort of the Sarkar where Raghav was standing. After this, he goes inside the fort, but Vinayak had also come there behind him. Now his eyes were only on Pandit. Here Vinayak deliberately shows everything to Pandit. From where does he get gold coins? Because of this, now Raghav was also standing far away watching what Vinayak was doing. He then sees Vinayak going into a well, and then after some time he sees Vinayak come out of the well with lots of gold coins. Now Raghav also does the same. After this, Raghav goes to the well and he reaches a box through a tunnel which opening had a way in the middle, and when Raghav tries to go inside it, so here we all know that the walls there were of red color. After this, Raghav goes inside where he felt as if the walls of that place were breathing. Here Raghav also sees a small closed box, and when he opens it there was a small doll inside. After this, when Raghav catches the doll, Hastur comes there. In fact, it was told in the beginning of the movie that Hastur was very hungry for grains, so when he saw a doll made of flour, he not only ate it but also bitten Raghav along with it, because of which Raghav's condition had deteriorated a lot. Now he was immortal for the rest of his life, but his condition also became like Vinayak's grandmother, and here we come to know one more thing, that where Raghav was present at this time is the womb of goddess of fulfillment. Shortly after this, when Hastur leaves, Vinayak also comes inside the womb, and here he becomes emotional seeing Raghav's condition, because Raghav had helped his family at some point of time. But this happened to Raghav because of his greed. After that, Vinayak starts his daily ritual, and first of all he makes a big circle of dry flour. After which, when he takes out the doll, here for the first time we see Hastur's face. After this, he throws the doll to the side and opens a bundle attached to the back of the Hastur and picks up a lot of gold coins that have fallen down. But Vinayak could not stay in the womb for long, so he is going to come out of the womb, and on the way sets Raghav on fire and frees him from this condition. Now after this, the final chapter starts and we are shown the scene after 14 years, and the year was 1947. Independent India. So Vinayak's condition had deteriorated due to excessive drinking of alcohol, because of which now he could not even go to Tumbad and bring gold coins, because he had become so weak that he could not even climb a rope. Due to this, he is not able to bring gold coins to his house for a long time. But here Vinayak was making his son Pandurang practice going to the womb of the goddess of fulfillment. Pandurang notes the time taken by him to complete the tasks, but Vinayak knows that his son is not quite ready yet. But now Vinayak wanted his son to get real experience apart from practice, so he comes to Tumbad village with his son, after which he teaches his son to make dolls. But Vinayak does not allow his son to take the doll to goddess womb. After this, he also teaches him to make a circle of dry flour and tells that when does the Hastur come and how does it come. But here by mistake Vinayak's son had brought a doll made of flour, due to which Hastur also comes there. However, Vinayak saves his son. But when Hastur was eating the flour doll, Pandurang opened the bundle behind Hastur and picked up some gold coins. After this, Vinayak is very angry with his son when he comes out because he knew that if Hastur had bitten either of them, then either of them could have got the same curse that their grandmother and Raghav had got. When Vinayak comes home at night, he gets the news that now the Indian government has decided to take over the village of Tumbad, and the government was about to take over the Sarkars fort as well. Because at that time Vinayak did not have any documents for his ancestral fort. Vinayak was worried about this thing day and night, because of which Vinayak was getting worried a lot. But here his son gives him an idea that we give only one doll to Hastur, but if we give him too many dolls he will be busy in eating them all and we can empty his entire bundle, after which they will never have to go to Tumbad again. Vinayak also likes this idea, so both of them now think to implement this plan. After this, both of them go to the fort of the Sarkar with a lot of flour, and both of them sit outside the well and make many dolls. After that they both go to the goddess's womb. But as soon as Vinayak put 2 balls of flour in his hand, 2 Hasturs appear there too, and on the other hand, when his son was taking out dolls of flour from the bag, more Hasturs came there. Seeing whom both of them get very scared, although they could not come near him because he had made a circle of dry flour. If Hastur was hungry for grain, then he was also cursed with grain because he had stolen gold from the goddess, but all the deities attacked him while stealing grain, so he could not even touch the grain with his hands. Here Hastur tries to come inside that circle, but he gets finished. Vinayak's son Pandurang fainted on seeing this, but when he wakes up from unconsciousness, he starts crying seeing his father, because here Vinayak had tied a dolls all over his body. That is, he started sacrificing himself to save his son. Now Vinayak starts going out of the womb, but he himself goes out. But due to this, all the Hasturs are killed, because before going into the womb, both of them had made a ball of dough outside the trunk that entered the womb. After some time, Vinayak's son also comes out of the goddess's womb. After this, when he comes out of the well and hears his father's voice, here he comes to know that Vinayak's condition has also become like his grandmother and his friend Raghav, because Hastur has bitten him too. Here he had become immortal due to the bite of the Hastur, but he only had to eat and sleep. Is this a life? Here he also starts giving some gold coins to his son, because at the end his son also wanted gold coins only. At first his son starts catching those gold coins from his father, but later he realizes that if he does not stop his greed today, then one day his condition will be the same as his grandmother's and now his father's. Thinking this, he does not take gold coins from his father and sets his father's body on fire and frees him too. The moral we get from this movie is greed is bad, and with this the wonderful movie comes to an end. But the fun fact of this movie is Vinayak's grandmother role also played by his son Pandurang.